Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of the Gamer Car Podcast. I'm Poiz, and with me are Tog, Wolfblade, Meltdown, and Ironkiller. And with that, let's just jump right into our first topic. So, what'd you guys think of A Heist with Markiplier?
It was a well done and perfectly constructed YouTube series. Gotta give them props to Markiplier.
Yeah, Markiplier, he actually puts like so much work into all of his videos. It's really cool.
I know,
the stuff
right?
that he makes. Like, do you guys? I don't know if you watched what was it called? A Date with Markiplier.
No,
I did.
it's probably similarly good though.
Yeah, I don't
It's
think it
pretty
had...
much the same thing.
Yeah, it just had like less endings. It was less. A Heist with Markiplier was basically that, but just more.
It was the sequel to that. If you one of the endings just led right into that.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
If you the true ending.
He's like, "Hey, want to go on a date?" At the end,
Which is 6, right? Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
I don't know how I haven't watched it already, because clearly that's my fantasy.
Yeah. But another thing though was the one thing I didn't like about it was the one part where there's I think it was, I forget what exact ending it was, but it was with the jail, and if you went with digging before, or you like did not want to do digging and then you decided to do digging, you got like basically the same endings, but they're just switched. Like the fairy and one was purple and blue in the other, and then
You missed.
and one was a Bob,
Okay.
and then Wade.
I didn't actually read the. I didn't.
You
actually
can
read the
actually
Wilford
get a
Slash.
different ending called.
I remember
Interview.
there was a fairy ending on the map. Like when he pulls up that
Poiz.
map in the car, you can read a fairy ending.
Yeah, I don't know. I
What's
thought
that, Wolfblade? Did you not
Yeah.
watch? Did you not finish A Heist with Markiplier?
I didn't watch
Shame,
Bruh.
shame. I'm gonna have
it. Just
to.
like Meltdown 878.
hey, I saw
What's that? Did
digging
Meltdown
one.
878 not watch A Heist with Markiplier either? Shame.
Bruh.
I saw that digging one. The thing I didn't like about it was how you could choose one way Markiplier would go, and that would be like, to run away, for example. But then he'd run away and he'd like use the box, and the box might be something bad, but you don't get to choose if he uses the box or
Yeah.
not.
I mean, you kind of make big decisions, but
There
then
were-
just most random things happen.
Yeah,
There
the
were
box is
some-
like a
the point,
convenient
though.
plot point.
I think, excusing the fact that it is a choose your own adventure, and I've read quite a few of the books, in my childhood. So I mean, yeah. So I've read quite a few of the books, and they usually go those weird routes where, like, some things that happen aren't physically possible in another ending. That
Yeah.
sort of crazy thing,
Like
like how the
the
treasure was
genre
a
totally
different
changes.
object every single time.
Yeah, it was
So-
dumb.
But I think that
I'm
was
used to that, but I
symbolized by
think-
like
I do
it's
feel like-
whatever you want it to be.
I do feel like there were specific endings that shouldn't have been endings, instead should have branched off. Like there were some weird parts where like you're telling the hands that are basically you. So you're like how you're seeing the view from first person, and I'm like telling the hands, don't do that, and yet like there's no choice. And so basically you're like being almost it feels like you're being mind controlled in that moment to do this
Well,
specific thing.
I mean, I can understand why, because they have to actually have production that needs to go along at a reasonable pace. They can't
There are
put an
limitations.
infinite amount of decisions.
He said he did
Like, it'd
work
be
on
nice,
it for a
but-
year, so it has been a while.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years, maybe that would have been possible, but
Yeah.
it's still tough.
Yeah.
Something I thought would have been really cool is imagine if, for say like one of the guards was standing in front of you, and maybe for a split second, video would like pop up to like punch the guard or something, but it'd only be up there for that split second, and maybe if you got to it quick enough, you'd
That
click
would
it,
be
and it would like add to a
Quick
like
time
whole
events.
other string.
Quick time events.
Yeah,
You
don't
know
tell
what
me.
Yeah,
quick
it's
time
awesome.
events?
That would
Sure,
be like
sure.
really intense kind of choice thing. So you'd have to really be focused, and it'd end up being some like game thing. And if you just did it for a relaxing like portion of your evening, it'd end up being like dumb because you couldn't get there fast enough.
That's
I mean,
true.
You could still like just go backwards as well, but still like that would just be a cool addition to have like a bunch of secret endings or something that are only you can only find them by clicking on the video that appears for a split second.
I do agree that would be pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, but
But I mean, it
So-
wouldn't make sense, because if it was a split second thing, there has to be a few seconds after like the video for the video to end. so that people have time to click on it, right?
Yeah.
Like, because then there's just the link disappears, and you have to go back and click on it, go back in the video,
It does kind of
re-click on it.
ruin
It ruins the
like,
immersion.
the viewing experience if you realize you've missed like a choice and then you have to like go back in the video. Like in the rest of the videos, whenever you're faced with a choice at the end of a video, you're given like a good 15 seconds to choose. So
I don't know. In the other one, like in A Date with Markiplier, there was a few secret ones where
No
if you
spoilers.
waited till the very end of the video, like there'd be another link for a second.
Oh, I
That
vaguely
would be
remember
cool.
that. I vaguely remember there being something.
I
like
don't
that. It's
remember
been a while
that.
since I watched A Date with Markiplier.
Yeah.
Another thing that I hated though, adding to the like just you couldn't choose very well, was the one ending where you decided to run away from the caveman, aka MatPat. You know, I meant to run away from him on the island. I didn't mean to jump off the island and get eaten by a
Yes.
shark.
That was my first ending, and that's exactly
the
what
true
happened.
choose your own adventure. You guys had a terrible path. Me and Meltdown had the greatest path.
Yeah.
Like I think we had the most interesting, not the most like the most grounded, most horrifying path, which I think
Yeah.
was my favorite.
And you guys went
Which
into the
one?
dark sewer, and
Yeah, we went
when
into
you
the dark
died,
sewer.
Markiplier got bit by that giant, like snake-looking big thing.
Oh yeah, so we made
No.
a few mistakes, but ultimately I think our final ending was us. I think the one where you went through time into different alternate realities.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was
that-
the
I
ending.
think,
I
I
really
think
like that
the
one.
best endings are the ones where is your first ending, honestly. Because the great thing about it is that no matter which paths you choose, it always feels like a connected story, you know?
Until you go
Like
back and
you don't
listen to
know
another story, and
about the other canons. You don't know that it's stupid that this thing is here when it's supposed to be somewhere else. Doesn't matter that it's supposed to be somewhere else.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's what the word I was looking
Right.
for. That's probably the weirdest thing about Choose Your Own Adventures is that there's no canon. There's kind of like agreed on thing that like there's no canon except for specific endings because the second you choose one ending from another, you know how like the treasure changes every time is a very obvious one where like it's at first it's a time travel device and the next thing it's what else was
Assault
it? Oh yeah,
shaker.
an orbital laser beam.
But I think that's what the
Or,
treasure is.
You know,
It's supposed to like be whatever the opener wants it to be. It's not supposed to be a set thing. The thing that makes it special is that whoever opens it, whatever they want the most in that exact time is what they get.
that's an interesting
It's
idea.
an interesting
like-
idea.
That whole
is there any
thing
examples where
reminded
that would
me-
be untrue? I'm trying to think.
I mean, there's a salt shaker. That was kind of ridiculous.
It's
But then
kinda
again, they were
perfect.
having a meal.
Oh yeah. I think it's
I think you're on the right track, at least.
it's like
I mean,
the
now,
bucket that one.
guys, for
Hang on.
all the bashing we do of this, like, and sort of like its flaws, I think there are a lot of like good things about this.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually fun to go through and find all the endings.
One thing
and,
that
like,
did
find
disappoint
the
me
true
though
ending.
was I expected the first ending to be better. Like the first ending, you know, it's the first ending. You'd
Yeah.
think it'd be special, but no, you just get crushed by a boulder. That was pretty anticlimactic.
Bruh.
That is a real moment, isn't it?
That was a certified bro moment.
And Monkey
Yeah.
Heaven.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah, monkey heaven. What was that?
Also, I
Uh,
love how like it's not even properly green screened.
I like how it went into that like bubbly kind of 2D animation when you went down the light tunnel. That was one of the greatest parts because it made it
Oh,
all
yeah.
funny.
We dodged the bullet there though.
We did.
Instead
We
going
went down a dark tunnel
the
and
dark
we got all
tunnel,
the creepy
we
stuff.
stayed in like
You
a
had the cult.
grounded reality sort of thing. Like we're
Where
like, oh,
all
we
things
just turned to horror
happen.
instead of like this
Yeah.
weird. Suddenly we were in a freaking ocean. Like that's the most
And we had
bizarre.
to grow.
Oh, another thing with the option to have like a part way in the video where you can click on a video that'll come up for like a split second. Imagine if that happened right the moment the zombie was about to bite you and you like pushed it away. That would
Wait, was
like,
there an option for that, Joel?
No, but imagine if there was. That would like
Oh.
add a whole new string of endings. That would be really interesting to go through.
Man, there was this.
That'd be cool, honestly.
There was this
Hmm.
like this DVD that I rented a couple of years ago, and it was a choose your own adventure story. And probably the most terrifying part was that it would just choose one of the neutral choice if you weren't fast enough on the DVD controller remote thing, and the remote wasn't
Oh my
reliable,
God.
and so it's like frantically trying to press the OK button before your guy like chose the terrible decision.
Oh, that reminds
Nice.
me.
I wish I
Just
could
recently,
find that
I
again because
saw
that was actually really interesting.
Minecraft
and
Story Mode is on
terrifying as
Netflix.
Netflix.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Minecraft
It's a
Story Mode,
game.
while being like a really entertaining watch, not a quality game, but a really entertaining watch, it's not true to the choose your own adventure genre. Like it doesn't
Does he,
really
like,
change.
It doesn't. Like you can change what characters are
Your
with
choices
you, but other
don't
than that,
matter.
Yeah, I mean,
Telltale games, your choices don't really matter. I
well,
mean,
I
not
mean,
like, it doesn't change the story significantly. Like in Heist with Markiplier, if you choose, going out guns blazing versus the sewers, it's a completely different experience. While in
Yeah.
Telltale games, if you make like a specific
The
choice,
great
loop
thing about
around there.
not having a
usually-
canon,
yeah,
right?
it'll loop around back to its normal pacing because of the limitations of what they're doing,
yeah.
which is disappointing.
I mean,
but
it's kind of fair, honestly. Like there has to be like a limit for how much actual work people can put into the game
Yeah.
or experience to actually get it out. But I think Heist Markiplier really did that well, like having so many potential endings. I mean, a lot of other like games like that, like you can choose like what your relationships with your characters are, like the NPCs. Like, oh, maybe someone dies, or maybe you fall in love with someone.
Oh, yeah. But
That's
you know,
all you
think
can do.
about the relationships. I don't see them as like relevant plot, very important plot
No,
points.
they're not, and that's the thing. It's choose your own adventure in a certain way, like or choose your relationships, but that's it. Like the story is almost the exact same.
Ow! I just hit my hand.
All right. Does anyone else have anything last to add on that topic?
Okay, a heist with the box really reminded me of that one
By the way,
what was it, Compass
Okay.
from One Piece? That into like episode 500, they had that compass where it would always point to what
500.
What? Hold up.
Wait a
it
second.
would always
Okay,
point
okay.
to
Look, I know
whatever
you
the
were probably
holder
talking
wanted the
about
most.
something,
That was
but I don't care. That was just by
was
saying
what it
episode
reminded me of.
500, you have proved that you are a weeb.
Oh, you mean like Pirates of the Caribbean compass?
yeah.
You don't have to watch 500 episodes in order to know what the compass is.
Was that in One Piece? It was. Right? I don't know.
Having just a mid podcast.
Just an anime moment, real quick there.
Facts.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
It might not have been from One Piece, but I do know it was from a TV show.
that's cool.
All right. Anyway.
It'll be an interesting device. Is like the compass, except if you're standing within 50 feet of somebody, it'll just randomly choose from whoever's within 50 feet of you, and it'll just choose what they want, and it'll point towards that direction of what they want.
Oh, jeez. That would be interesting for sure. But anyway, with that, does anyone have anything last to add to a heist with Markiplier, or shall we move on?
You know what?
No.
I have a suggestion what we should watch, but I'll have to do some research and try and figure out where it is, because that Choose Your Own Adventure cartoon that I sort of watched, that would be interesting to show you guys, because it was
Yeah, I'd
Very
love
good.
to see that.
if I could only remember what it was. I'll have to do some research. Anyway,
Okay.
Anyway, let's talk about the English language, the language we speak.
I think we should talk about how I'm doing a podcast in VR.
You are?
Yeah, I'm currently staring out at like one of Oculus's one of 4 environments. AKA Oculus should make more environments, but or at least make third-party environments. But come on. But anyway, I'm currently looking over a futuristic cityscape, and it's pretty interesting.
That's got to give you a lot of inspiration for sure.
I feel very inspired by this cyberpunk.
I feel very
Uh-huh.
inspired just hearing you talk about it.
I feel very.
All right, we need to talk
inspired.
about
You were so
Andrew's hate.
inspired.
Sorry. We need to talk about Ironkiller's hate of the English language.
Ironkiller's love of the English language.
The English language, the language we all speak but we all hate.
No,
Okay,
This
all
is
of
really-
us
here's a
love.
metaphor. Here's like a metaphor for what basically my relationship with the English language is. It's like it's like how my view of technology is today. It's like, you know what? This is I really don't like this because it could be better and it should be better.
Here's the
sort of
thing.
thing.
The actual English language, not that bad. Just go, there is worse languages.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
the living standards in the 18th century is better than the living standards in the 15th century, but you know, they're still terrible.
Compared
fair,
to
that's
the
fair.
21st
Compared to
Here's
now.
the thing. Why would what is wrong with the English language that makes it like bad?
You know, I'm just gonna.
Okay.
In,
So,
for-
you know
listen,
what- you know
listen,
what's
listen.
the
I want to
most
say something
obvious?
first. Okay, when you could say, womb is WOMB, bomb is BOMB, and boom BOOM. Those make no sense, and they all sound
All right.
really
Who invented the English language?
like.
It wasn't invented. It's a
Owen.
combination of like 5 or 6 languages.
Yeah.
It's a
Who
combination.
decided-
Okay,
Who
Who
no, I
decided that
actually
like
got
bomb
this.
would be called
Would
this
you
and then
like-
just went along with it?
Too many people took over
why is it
England
different?
and
Like
ended
sound
up-
different, like than other
would
words.
you like a brief history of the English language?
Yes, Tog, I
Sure.
would.
History
Okay.
podcast. Here we go.
All right, Tog.
Oh yeah, okay. Once upon a time, there was a bunch of Saxons living in England, and they were Saxoning it up. Okay, they had just gotten freedom from Rome after Rome fell, but all
Rome kicked them
those, after the Germanic barbarians, which took over Rome, they all kind of just went their own ways. The Franks came in and started taking back over parts of Rome, and one part of Rome that they also started taking over was England. And they did take over England where the Saxons were living. Now, the Saxons, they spoke English because they were on the island of England. But the Franks spoke Frankish. Well,
Or
because of the
French.
Franks were the nobles and the Saxons were the commoners, a lot of words, just their two languages just kind of smushed together into one language, which we call Old English. But we can actually see like evidence of a lot of that like power dichotomy between the Franks and the Saxons in just the words we use. Like the word for mansion is the Frank word for house. The word house is the Saxon word for house. But when you think mansion, you think of a big, nice house because that's the type of houses that the Franks had
I see.
because they were the
Huh.
nobles. Also,
That's
are
pretty
words
cool.
for like the food version of meat. So, like pork was the Frank version of for the word pig. That's just what they called pigs. But they only ever ate pigs. They never had to deal with the actual living animal because they were nobles. But the peasants, the farmers who had to take care of the pigs, called them pigs. Eat the
Huh.
meat, they also called that pig. They didn't call it pork.
That makes sense.
All right, I see you.
You know what?
That's
I
why
just wanna
English
give-
has so many more synonyms than other languages.
Respect to those northern Scottish people not being conquered by the Romans. Like, that was a really hard endeavor. I salute you.
Thank you,
Wow.
comrade. Anyway, Iron
Comrade.
Killer. What was that you were gonna say? A few minutes ago.
You were gonna say something?
You're
Yeah,
about to
you know what's
start a
the
rant.
most obvious choice? You know what's the most obvious choice to complain about?
Yes. What?
Is the fact that there are words that are pronounced the same,
Mhm.
but are spelled different, or words that are not only pronounced the same and spelled the same, but mean two different things, or
There, there, and
words
there.
that sound the same, but are spelled differently and mean different things.
Don't forget about
Like,
here,
what-
Here's the
here,
thing.
There's
lead and
no,
lead.
yeah,
I feel
there's
like-
no lot. There's every single word should have a unique spelling and a unique pronunciation. There should not be any. This would obviously these improvements would be basically impossible. But if we were to start from scratch, for sure that would be the number one rule. Words should not. There should not be no two words should be spelled the same, and no two words should sound the same.
Here's an idea. Alternatively, so are you suggesting making your own language or fixing the English language? Because I don't think you're going to get 350 million people to learn a new language.
That's it, dude. It's not just America. It's like
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
well,
Australia
you don't
and,
have, you don't
UK
have to
too.
go to all
It's-
those other countries.
English is the language of the world, though.
Okay, fine. Do you want everyone to speak this language or just America?
Well, clearly, if this is my theoretical environment, then yes, obviously everybody would speak the same language.
You're trying to get like 7.7 billion people to learn a language. Do you know how hard it is to just get the people at my school to learn a language?
Do you know how hard it is to get?
Clearly,
people to
the
do
answer
anything?
is simple. We make neural interfaces. Just implant the information to everybody's brain.
Okay,
But,
Boomer.
ethics aside.
I mean, that's the strat right there.
I like that idea.
Neural
But anyway, I
implants?
think there's just really basic things that people kind of think are funny that I complain about, but they're like, this is really simple. This is like basic logic that I'm talking about. This is basic logic that if you were to make something, if you were trying to make a communication system, that it would be like if in Morse code
Problem is
they
that
had
no
two
one
different
made it.
letters where you made two different letters had the same exact two different letters had the same exact code in Morse code. It would be like
Here's
that.
the
Like,
thing,
oh,
here's the
guys, you're
thing.
just gonna have to figure out which one is which by context. Like, are you serious? No.
Here's the thing.
In Morse code,
When
they have
English,
in Morse code,
I know,
every
I'm
letter
just-
has a unique code. And you know why that is? Because it's basic, it's logical. It makes the most sense because it's
and
communication.
when it was invented, when the English language was first starting to be spoken and was first starting to be written down, three different groups of people invented how to write down English
I'm
language.
not
The
complaining
Franks,
about the fact that it was invented.
I know.
I'm complaining that people think it's ridiculous that I say that, hey,
Oh.
you know what? It's like saying that,
It
the
didn't-
earth is
it didn't
cracked.
start off
we
broken.
can't do anything about it. But at the same time, I'm still going to complain that the cracks are there.
I'm just saying, it didn't
I don't
start
get
off
that,
broken.
But okay, buddy.
Okay. So
Okay.
it's just like I cannot fix this problem because it's not fixable, and everybody thinks it's ridiculous that I complain about the problem still. But just because the problem isn't fixable doesn't mean I can't complain about it, because it's clearly a problem and it causes misconceptions. Just like the fact that there are two main measuring systems in the world that caused one of NASA's rockets to just blow up straight up because one was working in imperial and one company was working in metric. It's a problem. Are we going to get everybody on the same page with this kind of stuff? No, because they're stubborn.
There are some people
That's fair.
who tried to. There's many people who've tried to make a language that makes sense, but all of them, if you try to make a language that makes sense, then it doesn't make sense because the human mind is made for messiness. Like, language isn't something that can just be all neat and tidy. The reason why it's messy isn't just because people are lazy or whatever. It's messy because that's how languages are.
All right. Well,
That right there is Ironkiller's rant of the English language.
It was far more civil than it was earlier, but okay.
what else
True.
should we get Ironkiller to rant about next? Let's find him something to rant about.
Okay, yeah, you know what? Just find a random thing. Just come up
Right.
with something right now.
League.
Ironkiller, I want you to rant about hard cookies. You know, those cookies that just don't have enough moisture in them.
Why do people leave
Wow,
cookies in the oven
wow.
for so long? Like, what is their deal? Like, chill, man. Like, the cookies don't need to be fried to oblivion in order for them to be good. Like, if anything, the cookie dough itself is better than the actual cookie. Like, it
That's
tastes
so true.
better.
That's so true.
That's
I love
very
cookie dough
true.
so much. It
So
tastes so
clearly
Yeah,
good.
they
honestly, it's
They
pretty
should
good.
just They should just not have it. You should just give me the cookie dough. But these hard cookies that have no moisture, I don't have much to say about them besides they're bad. I mean, what's there to complain about?
I mean,
Everybody can
it's
agree
not
on
just
that.
cookies either. It's brownies too. Like just recently, my mom made some brownies, and I think some of them were put in a container and left in the fridge, and some were on the counter, just on a plate. And the ones in the fridge tasted normal, but the ones on the plate and the counter, they were just incredibly dry because from sitting out, they just lost all their moisture and like basically 50% of their enjoyableness along with
Ah.
it.
You just bite into
I'm about
that
to say something
brownie
very
and just like.
controversial, but I don't like
Say it.
brownies.
Moisturous.
So
Wait.
You don't like
Back
brownies?
up. Hold up.
What?
I never
This is
You don't
enjoyed
like
them.
brownies.
What?
Yeah, I never enjoyed them.
How?
Excuse me?
I told you I was about to say something controversial.
Yeah,
You
this
did
is
say it.
extremely
You did say it.
controversial.
You didn't just about to.
Well, he
Why
said
don't
he
you
was
like
about
brownies?
to say.
Explain it.
Because I don't like the chocolate. I don't like the chocolatey taste that isn't chocolate. It's kind of hard to describe. It's like describing why I don't like
Chocolate
like
cake?
like what's a food that you don't like? I mean, how do you describe
Tomatoes.
a food? Yeah, how
I
do you
like
describe why I
tomatoes.
don't like tomatoes?
He's
I like
talking about
tomatoes.
Meltdown
I
doesn't
hate
like
tomatoes.
tomatoes.
I don't
Tomatoes
like
so
the
much.
texture of
Tomatoes are
tomatoes.
stupid.
that's fair.
They
They
are
taste like
so
acid in
slimy.
Wait,
a
Andrew,
water
Andrew,
balloon.
if you're
Gross.
saying you don't like the chocolate, the fake chocolate and brownies, does that mean you don't like chocolate cake either?
Chocolate cake is kind of different.
Chocolate
because
cake
it
is
comes with
amazing.
the frosting, so it kind of like, you know how like you
You
could put
can
you can have stuff
frost
in
a
a jelly that you don't
brownie.
like, and you
That's
can still
all
eat
I'm
the whole thing
saying.
without
So you're
Wait,
basically
so
saying
if
you
put
like the frosting, but
on
you don't like the
brownies,
cake.
You'd like it. If they put frosting on brownies, you'd like them.
because brownies are much thicker, and so they'll have
You
like
can get
cake-
your
cake is very
cake is so much thicker than a brownie.
No, it
What are you
isn't.
talking
Well,
about?
not-
cake
I
is
mean,
less dense. 'Cause brownies are a lot more dense than cake is.
I mean,
You're
okay, so what
talking
I'm trying
about
to say
density.
is
I thought you were just
cake
talking about
cake
size.
batter when it's cooked is basically like taste. I mean, kind of tasteless compared to the frosting. While brownies are much more dense in their flavor, and I don't like their flavor. It's like have you tried those what are they called? Those no sugar, basically the chocolate chips that they put in cookies, like for baking.
Yeah, I've probably had those at some point.
Oh. I don't like those. While
Oh,
I can
really?
eat like hundreds of Hershey's chocolate bars. So it's
I
just
just
like the
all
fact.
chocolate.
It's just the bitterness
same.
of having no.
Poiz.
That's not it
Thanks,
either. 'Cause
Wolfblade.
brownies are very sweet. I don't. It's hard to describe why I don't like. I just never enjoyed them. I could eat one, but at the same time, I'd rather eat like for example, a hot dog.
You know what I'd rather eat?
What?
A hamburger.
Yeah.
I mean, I like
Wait.
hamburgers, but like you gotta put the cheese on it to make it cheeseburger.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, have you ever it always ever since I was growing up I thought like a cheeseburger and a hamburger were the same exact thing.
Not.
Technically they are, one just has cheese, but I
And
always
is
like
superior.
it was always interchangeable in my mind. And in my mind it always had cheese. Like why would you make a hamburger without cheese? Like the cheese adds like
You could be allergic to cheese.
it would be like
True,
it would be like
if
if
you're
you
allergic
took
to
a
dairy.
it would be like if you took a sandwich, put like chicken or turkey on it, and then nothing else. Like it would be kind of compared to if you put if you made a sandwich with cheese and meat as well. So it's
It's
my
like-
opinion.
It's like a cheese sandwich or a grilled cheese sandwich where it's literally just bread and cheese and it tastes terrible.
No, what do you mean? I like grilled cheese.
Well, you're
Yeah.
dumb.
Well, have
That's
you had a
interesting
grilled? Have you had a
because I would
grilled ham
prefer
and
meat,
cheese though?
But they're actually pretty good. They're actually pretty good without meat and just with cheese on them, at least in my opinion.
The
But at the
melted
same time,
cheese is
I would-
amazing.
I would never eat them just cold, like uncooked. Like I would never eat just a straight cheese sandwich because I would not find it very
Yeah,
appetizing.
Cold cheese
We
and
should meet
melted
up for
cheese. Oh, that's the
cheese
stuff.
sandwich.
But at the same time, I would love cold cheese on a cheeseburger. Like that would be the difference in temperature as well as flavor would make it. At least I think like it improves.
Excuse me, did you just say that you prefer cold cheese on a hamburger?
Well, yeah.
Hold up. What?
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 Okay.
What do you mean?
Hold
If you
up.
if you had just put the cheese on like seconds before eating it, that's the best
Nuh-uh.
time.
No,
Yeah.
the cheese
No.
is
If
gonna
it's
be like
already-
cooking
That's not
with
a
the
grilled
burger, be
cheese
melted.
sandwich.
No, you
We're
gotta
not
let it
talking about
melt.
grilled cheese.
We're
We're
not
talking about
talking about
burgers.
We're
grilled
talking about-
cheese,
Oh,
you
I'm retarded.
absolute
Don't worry about
buffoon.
me. Don't worry about me, bro. I'm just on my phone looking at memes.
You're gay.
No.
We're all contributing to the conversation.
Meltdown's over there looking at memes too, so.
I'm
Snitch,
contributing to the
snitch,
conversation.
Snitch.
Stitches, it's stitches. You know what? You know what?
Snitch.
What are you gonna be?
You know Wolfblade? You know Wolfblade? Go do your homework.
Oh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Next time I won't hit your chair.
Okay.
Imagine
so-
if we're just like recording and then Caleb just gets up and starts beating up Wolfblade.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know,
Unified bro
they're in the
moment.
same room.
Yeah, they're in the same room, and they
Oh yeah.
they.
And by the way,
It's
in case everybody is wondering, no, they don't. Even though they're in the same room, they do not know what the other one is doing. Like you ask them, "Hey,
crazy.
what is Wolfblade doing?" Meltdown's like, "I don't know."
It's true.
Hey,
actually.
Wolfblade, what is Meltdown doing? I
Although-
don't know.
Well, usually when you ask me that, Ironkiller, Meltdown's upstairs doing. I actually don't know what he does. He gets home from school, he goes upstairs and does.
Well, why don't you go and
Actually,
look
no
for
idea.
him?
I don't care what he's
You
doing.
live
That's
with him and
that
you
is
don't know
very
what he
true.
But I don't
does.
care. I don't care though.
Okay, so what's the next topic?
Should we talk about
Oh,
no,
shit.
phone
no,
UI?
no. Staying on like the food topic,
Okay.
it should be our hot dogs sandwiches.
No, they're hot
No.
dogs.
Okay.
They're hot dog.
Huh.
Yeah,
'Cause
provide evidence.
Somebody
What is your
reeled
reasoning
in.
for
Somebody
that?
reeled me into this logical argument by basically they made me describe that, and then they convinced me that crackers and cheese was a sandwich.
No, that's
And
not a
so
sandwich. That is crackers
that
and
really
cheese.
bothered because I described. I was like, oh, this is because like hardness, and then they were like, oh, but is toast a sandwich? Like if you make a sandwich out of toast.
Well, it's about having
So-
bread. Like crackers are not bread; they're crackers. Just like a burger is not a sandwich; it's a burger because you have bun,
I don't
not
want.
bread.
I don't agree with this argument, but this is the argument that they used on me, and I'm not happy about it because it's actually like logical, but at the same time, okay. So what is a sandwich? How would you describe a sandwich?
I
Two
heard a
pieces of
sandwich
bread
being
surrounding something. Like it doesn't even have to be
Yes.
anything. Like you could just have a bread sandwich.
Like,
So okay, what if I took the bun,
Like you could have a
teared
lettuce.
it in two halves,
Sorry,
and then put
buns
it
don't
on the
count.
hot dog?
Buns are for
Okay,
burgers.
okay.
it's bread though.
What? Buns are bread though.
You can put like bread around a hot dog and it'd be a sandwich, but if you're using a bun, then it's a hot dog.
What's the difference? It's literally a bun. It's literally bread, but shaped differently.
Yes.
But
If
it's
you
also, like,
tore
a different
that
kind of bread.
and squished it,
No, it's you can have a multitude of kinds of bread for sandwiches, like grain or rye or whatever.
and then you
or
can
sesame
literally-
seed. You do the same thing for burgers, buns. It just doesn't really matter. It's still a piece of bread.
Facts. Straight facts. So, by that definition, if you tore a bun and squished it up against a hot dog, it would technically be a hot dog sandwich.
You can make a hot dog
Alright,
sandwich
that's
if you
fair.
took some bread, right? That wasn't a bun. That was bread.
And you
Well,
have
oh,
it
wait.
inside of a
Okay,
hot dog.
one sec. I just thought of something.
Yeah.
So, let's just say hypothetically, right? You take a hot dog. You take a few hot dogs. You take 2 pieces of bread and you put the hot dogs between the bread.
Yeah.
A hot dog sandwich.
Yes,
Facts.
I can get behind.
Okay.
I can get behind that. one.
Okay. Separate thing. Let's say you take a Subway style sandwich. You put a whole bunch of ham in there. Would you call that a sandwich?
As long as
That. Yes.
Yes.
It's a
between two
right.
things.
Okay. Now here's the thing. What is the bread of a Subway sandwich? Right.
It's
I
a
mean,
sub
what
roll.
truly separates a Subway sandwich piece of bread and a hot dog bun?
It can close all the way.
I mean, one is
Uh,
called bread, one is called bun.
No,
Okay.
it can close all the way in the relative to
That
sandwiches.
is true.
A sub
Honestly,
can close the two top
There's definitely a
portions of
difference in
bread can
taste. I
touch
believe-
together, and
I
then
believe you put eggs in buns.
Oh, really? I know there's like some kind of difference. Like there's definitely some kind of taste
Definitely
difference. I just
different.
don't know what exactly it is.
We're just uneducated swine when it
Do
comes
we have to
fast
use
food.
bread? Because wait, one sec. I'm gonna look this up. Are buns bread?
No, look up on Google, like are hot dogs sandwiches?
This is like
So
the
the
argument
answer
is
is-
water wet.
Yeah, I know.
Water wet.
all right. So that's our next topic. Is
So
water
Bread.
No.
Okay, what is the definition of like wet?
Wet
Can somebody
means
read that?
saturated with water.
Well, that's easy. Like, okay,
Wait,
if
where
you're
do we
thinking
want
about it, if you're thinking about any chunk of water, like any
It's
amount,
saturated
any
with
size,
water. It is wet.
then it's going to have by like definition, it's going to have water around it, and so thus, yes, it is wet.
Yes. That's what I've been trying to tell everyone.
It's not that water itself makes itself wet. It's because water isn't usually by itself, and instead it is with other water. Unless you have a single water molecule, in which case,
going
no,
back
it is
to
not
the
wet.
hot dog problem.
So one single water molecule is not wet. So
Yes.
True, actually. That would
if
be
it has 3 water molecules, then technically, yes, those are wet.
Yes, because like wet is the water sticking to you, and so those 3 molecules would stick to each other because they're polar.
Interesting definition. I can see.
Yeah,
that.
it's the hydrogen bonding with the oxygen in order to actually make it wet. If there are no like molecules bonding, then it's not wet. If you can separate a single molecule of water, it is not wet by definition.
That's true.
Okay. So we concluded that. So if it's multiple water, multiple water.
Multiple water. Bro, how many waters do you have?
H2O
I have
8
3
water.
waters.
I have 8 water.
Bro, I have 24 water. What are you talking about?
Bro, I have
you
1
even
mole
water?
of water.
I have mole.
Mhm.
I guess a mole. Chemistry. It's been so long since I did basic
I
chemistry.
love chemistry.
I'm in
Chemistry is
chemistry right
awesome.
now.
I took AP chemistry. It was a lot of fun, but sadly I haven't done that in a while.
Ironkiller. All I've heard in my school about AP chemistry is it's just incredibly hard and annoying. So I don't know what you've been doing, but
I guess.
Well, it might
But
be
I'm
when I was in
insane.
college,
I'm the
like,
person who got
the
a
teachers
5
are
on
very good.
the economics test and thought it was the most fun class in the world. Everybody else like
A
completely hated
5.
it.
Wait. You got a
5 is-
5.
On the AP test for the economics, yeah. That's the max you can get.
Oh, okay.
you know, if I ever take
A 5
AP Chem or
represents
economics,
more than
Ironkiller,
70%.
I'm going to go to you every day
Oh,
and
that's
have
good.
you do my homework.
That's the thing.
That's a passing grade then.
5 is not a passing.
For the
That's
AP test, the AP test is very difficult, and so technically, most colleges will accept a 3, which is above 50%.
Yeah.
Ah.
The AP test is very hard. I mean, it's like you walk into those AP tests after taking a whole year of AP class, and you're like, "What the heck is going on?" Like, I was like, I swear I got every single one of those questions wrong. But
Wait, were they multiple choice or you just like
it
True
is
response?
no, they're not. There's a multiple choice portion, and then there is a written
I got
portion.
it.
yeah.
And the written portion is it just like
Yeah.
Aren't
Very
you technically not supposed to?
no, I'm not disclosing any of the questions. That's
Huh.
what they tell you. They tell you there is a multiple choice portion, and plus they probably already released all of the questions that I would
Especially for
I possibly
Yeah, I mean,
could
they've
talk.
already told me, for example, what's going to be on the AP US history test. 'Cause there's going to be multiple choice, there's going to be DBQs, there's going to be short answers, and there's going to be a long essay. So that's going to be really fun.
yeah, I love how your internet cuts in and out there,
It's
Poiz.
okay.
Oh, is it
It's
seriously
so
doing
fun
that?
to understand you. Yeah, it is.
That's
Bruh.
kind of tough.
All right. I feel like that was surprisingly more like that was a surprisingly better conversation than I was expecting. So
Yes,
Yeah.
water being wet.
water being what we talked about AP chemistry, language, history. Okay, what other subjects can we cover?
Phone UI?
Phone UI.
I don't
Oh
really
my
have an opinion on that. I just think it's okay.
I think it's satisfactory
I think,
for the
that
medium of
Apple
communication
Dumbo-
that we have.
Okay, I have the basics of like
Oh my
layers
God.
between the CPU and the computer and the end user.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mhm.
layers, like I think assembly would be like one layer, and like basic programming languages like would be 2 or 3 depending on how high you're going, and then like a GUI, a user
Uh-huh.
interface would be like going even higher. I feel like phone user interfaces are even higher than that. Thus, like you have less fully direct control over the experience that you're getting compared to a desktop computer.
I understand what you're saying.
Because there are things like file systems which you can't access unless you plug your phone directly into a separate computer.
What do you mean? What do you mean, bro?
At least on my specific
On
phone.
my phone, I
Up
can
with your
literally download an
computer,
app
man.
and I can see the entire files.
Well, you had to download an app, to be fair. Like, why
That's
isn't it
not
in the
hard.
operating
So
system?
you're wrong, though.
Why isn't it in the operating system? And websites for mobile are the worst things in the world. Like they're actual
That's
I
true.
would agree. I would agree.
Everything-
On most websites.
like it doesn't give you the sheer amount of options and like availability that it would in a normal like PC computer website. Like I'm thinking of like Reddit just constantly annoys you and tells you to get the app. Like, shut up! I don't want
Oh
your
my goodness,
stupid
it's
app.
so annoying.
Like,
I know.
Occasionally, I'll just
Please
want to use the
want.
website, and no, I can't because I'm just bombarded with, "Hey, you want to use the app? Oh,
Can
hey,
you-
hey, you
yeah.
want to use the app? Hey, I have a great idea for you. You should use the app."
Can these stupid companies realize I'm not going to download 200 apps for everything single website that I visit only once? Okay, I'm not going to download your stupid app. Okay, and I'm
Yeah.
especially not going to download your stupid app if it requires me to log in anyway, which I would do on a normal browser every single time. It doesn't even keep me logged in. Like, are you serious? Yeah, but that's just specifically with my banking app. It just makes me log in every time. Like, are you
Yeah,
serious?
Yeah,
so
well,
annoying.
the best part about
Right.
I think banking apps are good though. You can put in your like thumbprint or like your Face ID, and you can log in that way. You don't have to put in your password.
It is kind of nice.
That's only for apps that keep that.
Yeah, I mean,
If you don't have that,
mine
you're
works
getting
every
ripped
single
off.
time. And
It's only for certain apps that actually support it, though.
most apps do though. Bank of America does.
Facts.
So I don't know.
All right. What is the next? Does anybody else have anything to say about UI instead of just me just ranting about how terrible the user interface is?
I mean, it's basically just another Ironkiller rants.
Yeah,
Nice.
basically.
That's what this is.
But yeah, I really have nothing else to add to that. I don't know about you guys.
Me neither.
No.
All right, what should we talk about next? Should we talk about Ironkiller? You wanted to talk about your VR desktop?
Oh yes, you know
It's already a
what?
thing though, honestly. Look, if you know the Oculus UI, and you can click a little button on the right when you open up like the menu.
Yeah, I'm using that right now.
Yeah, you can just look at the UI.
Yeah,
It's so
my
good.
problem
I mean,
is
it works.
that you can't just conjure up emulated windows. Instead, you can only do the windows that you have connected to physical displays. I want to be able to conjure up like 1,000 windows of different things, but I cannot.
Well, I can understand that. Yeah, that actually sounds like a good idea, but you have to like.
There would
Get
probably
there.
be a program for it, but there was some weird limitation of windows. Apparently, each display, even if it's emulated, has to be connected to a display, not a display port, but like a port on the dedicated graphics card. So you can't just have unlimited displays, which is really weird. I don't know if they changed it since I've read that article, but I mean yesterday, but I don't know when. I don't remember what date that article was. But that would be nice if they could get rid of that limitation. Because the sooner I can just conjure up 1,000 screens in VR and make them as big as I want, the sooner I don't have to buy another display. So
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Wolfblade, for occasionally adding in a aha or an mm-hmm.
As
Thank
he
you.
Well,
looked at
hey, I
me,
say things every
lying
now and then.
on
Don't worry
camera.
about it. Well, I'm only looking up League right now, so.
No, of course you are. Anyway,
hey, we have 30 seconds to talk about League. What do you have to say, Wolf?
It's the
One.
best game.
Two.
So I like to play ranked, because it's serious. Earth is cool, but
hold
Earth
up,
is
Oh,
not
wow.
as serious.
Wolfblade, why
Listen,
do you
listen,
like League? Let's talk about why you like League of Legends.
Because it's fun, and it's a purely skill-based game, right? It's not like, oh, well, I progressed, and now I have to be better than you because I have more stuff than you. No,
Except for
you
Chris.
have to get better. Like, I'm getting better every time I play. Like, so eventually I'll be in higher ranks, which shows I'm better, right? And I want to play better at the game. And it's a game that really pushes you to play better in order to win. Because that's the only way you can win, by playing better.
literally
I
replace
mean, isn't that every
the
game though? Like
game
play
with
better
any
and you
sport
win.
ever, and you could still like the sentence would still make
Yeah,
sense.
but a lot of games don't have more permanent progression. The League is a very temporary progression in game, and then restart, and now you're start square one from skill again, which is really cool.
You know
Most
what is
games do
temporary
that.
progression? Building muscle. That's temporary progression right there.
Building what?
Building muscle.
Oh my
man.
god!
Because you just
Totally
lose it.
Ironkiller.
You lose it within like a month.
Yeah, what's
bruh,
the point?
yeah,
Just
you
like
like
give me
yeah,
there's no
steroids.
long-term
Just give
gains.
me steroids.
There's no long-term gains for the. Yeah, if I could just get steroids injected into my body, that'll just give me muscles. Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks.
Just
I'm not playing any professional sports, so I'd rather just be stronger.
permanent.
Clearly, the health issues. Yeah, you know what? Just ignore those.
Who cares?
Clearly, the sooner that we invent like mind uploading, I'm just gonna take that route anyway. So
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't? Unless some evil
Ah.
corporation takes control of it, and all of a sudden
Boomers
you are
wouldn't.
controlled by
That's
them.
the thing.
That would kind of be like an oof right there.
preferable to communism.
Communism
Does
isn't
nobody get that joke?
terrible.
Oh, come on.
It's just always been
I don't.
bad.
That's because it's not true communism.
You know what? Let's rant about how communism can be better.
All right, sure, let's go communism right now.
Communism? Okay, well,
so what we need to
communism
do,
shouldn't be combined
Wait,
with
hang
an
on. We agree that
authoritarian government.
This is starting about politics. Are we going to talk about politics? Because I'll insert all my opinions, Joel.
Okay, no, oh wait, then there.
Oh,
Okay,
gee.
let's save that for another episode. Then we don't need to get
Save
into any
another time.
political debates right
We'll spare people by putting it in the title if we do have politics.
now.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll like put a warning in
Meltdown
there.
suggested history.
Okay, I think we've pretty much
Agree
gone
that
to our time.
I feel like
limits.
that's pretty
Hold
general.
up, what we have one more topic we can talk about, which is other podcasts.
Like-
Joke's on you. I have never actually listened to a podcast.
Really?
Facts.
The only
I
two I've
listen
listened
to-
to are like Hello Internet and the official podcast.
The only
yeah.
thing I've listened to is Critical Role.
I listened to Critical Role, Hello Internet. What was the other one?
Here's the thing,
Cortex.
though. Here's the thing. You don't listen to Critical Role Season 2, which is better. Because I've
Excuse
listened
me,
to...
season 1,
I've listened to
100 times
both.
better.
I have listened to both. And you have only listened to one. So, ha.
Wait, you listened to all of season 1?
Not... Okay, that's fair. I have not listened to
It
all
took
of
me
Season
like 2 years to listen through. This is just me driving from work and to work and back and to school and back. It took me 2 years to listen to every single episode of that. This is so long.
How many episodes are there, and how long is the average
100
episode?
and
It's 170 something plus
Jeez,
80.
what do these
170?
people do with
And
their time?
each-
Was
Hang on, hang on.
179.
It's like playing League, Joel.
179, and
plus-
each episode is about 3.5 hours long.
I hate.
Jeez,
Wow.
Some
wait.
people.
Listen,
these
Joel.
people have any
I mean,
time for,
Poiz.
like, doing
Some people
anything?
spend all day.
Is
playing
their
League.
job. They
Hang
get
on.
paid a lot of money for it.
No, Poiz. They built this up over like 2 years. Basically every Tuesday. So every week they make an
Every
episode.
Thursday.
Oh,
That-
okay,
that
so
is
that's like
D&D
gold.
53
Actually, it's
episodes
been
a year or
years.
something.
Yeah.
53,
It took them a few
53.
years, but it's incredible adventure that they make, especially because they're
Amazing.
voice actors. That's what makes it really.
Oh, yeah,
good,
they're
'cause
all
they
voice
really
actors.
hammer home like all the
Yeah,
interactions.
Mercer's really cool,
Really
honestly.
just-
By the way, if you listen to it all back to back, it's 38.2 days of audio.
Jeez.
Yeah,
That's
which
a
is
whole
amazing
month.
if you get bored in the car while driving.
So is that? I think that's less days than the amount of time I put into Destiny. Okay.
Okay, cool.
You
sure,
can
bro.
shut your mouth.
Okay, sure. So,
Did anybody ask?
It's significally more than the
I'm
amount of
just stating
enjoyment I
facts.
got out of Destiny, which is 0.
Same.
I got
Controversial
infinite-
opinion.
Very yes. I love
not,
Destiny.
not that controversial, honestly.
I mean,
That's
I can
fair.
understand the point for calling Destiny a bad game. I totally understand it, but Destiny's also really good.
It makes me angry because of how good the game could have been. Like that's
Yeah,
all I could
exactly.
think of the whole
You know
time
what?
I'm playing it.
You should just play
grind.
I mean,
Warframe.
look,
That's not
the
fun.
new Shadowkeep expansion makes the game better because
Okay,
it's not free to play.
expansions. It's about core gameplay. It can't expansions don't fix.
No. Now that Bungie is not under Activision, Destiny 3 can be better than Destiny 2. They can
Oh,
change it
yeah,
now.
let's make
They
all
said
They
that
can
about
fundamentally
Destiny
change
2.
it now.
Ooh.
Destiny 2 is going to be better than Destiny 1, and I hate
And I would say it's kind of true in some ways, false in other ways.
You know what?
But they can, now that they are under Activision, they can choose to change Destiny fundamentally in Destiny 3, which they couldn't do with Destiny 2.
So maybe they could actually make a story.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you
They
say.
have these. I always feel bad for the people behind these games that are like the artists and the set designers and the special effects and the programmers, because they make an amazing experience. Like if you look at the
Yeah,
the
it's the same
world
for a
that they
lot of
construct.
games.
They construct mega structures of like from science fiction and cities and spaceships and all
Yeah.
these amazing looking things, and then like the writers are just like snorting cocaine in the other room.
What are you doing?
Like straight up, that's what they're like. You can't be serious that like they spent hundreds of millions of dollars on this game, and that's what the writers could come up with. They
It's
couldn't
like-
come
Yeah.
up with actually something
It's the
interesting.
same thing for games like Anthem and Star Wars Battlefront. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of
I
games
mean,
are letdowns, and
The Battlefront
they're-
2
and they're-
now, they've really improved it since launch. It's been like 2
Yeah, they've
years. It
improved
is a
it,
really good game now.
but I mean, still, like Anthem is the perfect example of a great visual game, but terrible story and terrible gameplay.
I mean, yeah,
Don't
the Battlefront 2
understand.
campaign was pretty bad. Like they
Is
there
advertised
such a-
it as playing as the Empire, but then like maybe 10th the way through, you just like switch to the Rebels. So
Yeah.
goodbye to that.
They should
Here's
make
the
one
thing,
game
like
play
I've
as
never
bad
understand
guys.
why
You
the
have to
Empire
switch
is
over.
Where
like
it's
seen as
literally
like a
sand.
Well,
bad
I mean, that's not
thing.
true in every
You just
game. I
walk
mean,
around,
consider
do anything you want and play the game however you want. That's literally the best kind of game.
Yeah, that
yeah,
would
it's
actually be
hard
really
though.
cool.
Like Star Wars: The Force Unleashed, though, you play as a bad guy. Star Wars: The Old Republic, you
don't
can play as
forget
a bad
about Lego
guy.
Lego Batman, where you could play as the
Star Wars-
criminals or the villains.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
No, there- oh,
Now that
man.
was a good game.
Batman
had it
was
down the
fun.
old
That game was
DS.
fire.
DS, Wii, it was great.
Yeah, the Wii was the best. Can we get
the
an
best
FNC
console.
for the Wii?
Controversial opinion.
PC.
Best console ever. No,
PC.
PC is not a console. It is
You
just a
absolutely-
superior.
That's a platform.
PC is a superior device. It is not a console.
It's a
It
platform.
can't be rounded up with those
Superior platform.
limitations. You know what consoles do? They add another layer. They add another layer between the end
Oh
user
my
and
gosh.
the computer.
We know
Oh,
Iron
okay.
Killer.
They can't do fun things like install programs and do interesting things. Instead, you have
Oh
to
my
go
God.
through
But
this
they
regular.
cost cheaper.
Cost cheaper. Yes.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
I
big
just
brain.
realized how stupid that was. They're cheaper. Yeah, guys, they cost cheaper.
Yeah.
Ooh, I have the brain cells.
Yeah, but like those,
They're cheaper, guys. They're cheaper.
I would not have access to like the cool parts, like a lot of games that I play, like Java Minecraft. You can't play that on console.
Bro,
It's fair.
It's
Yeah, but
only
you also
the
can't, like-
autism version.
I mean, it's just cheaper. That's the main thing. That's like the only thing I can think of. It's cheaper.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Also,
I guess you get a
better
more
Minecraft
streamlined thing.
multiplayer. That's something.
Are we gonna wrap
Yeah,
up?
yeah, I
or
can.
no?
That's fair.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you guys are ready to wrap up? It's been about an hour.
I think it's a pretty good podcast.
In an hour?
Yeah, it has, believe
I
it
don't
or
know if
not.
it's been about. It's been at least like close to an hour, but
It's been at least 45 minutes.
no,
Yeah.
it's been a lot more than 45 minutes. But
Okay.
anyway,
All right. Yeah.
thank you everyone for listening. We're hoping to continue this. Maybe we'll gain a following. Maybe we won't. Who knows? Who really cares? We're just
Why
five
not?
guys having a conversation.
Four
So
guys,
anyway,
one girl. You gotta add Wolfblade.
And the girl is Meltdown.
All right. Anyway, other than that,
No, two
we will
cats,
see all of
cats,
you
a
guys
rose,
later. Goodbye.
A logo and a dabbing.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya. Bazinga.